Here's how you go about making the button. So what I've got here is whatever you end up creating in Photoshop. So I've taken this photo, mixed it with this guy right up here, and this photo right there. So within those four photos, I just did a quick little collage, pulling it together to make it look like it was a full mountain range. So on the top layer of whatever you have for Photoshop, if you press, with it selected, the top layer that you want, if you press Command, Option, Shift, and the letter E, what that will do is it'll create a stamp. It basically takes everything that you made, it copies it all onto a single layer, and it smushes it all together. What we're going to do from here is we're going to press Command A to select all, Command C to copy, and I'm going to come over here to my button. Now, the photo that I made, the collage, it's way bigger, I think, than will fit inside of this button, but we'll give it a shot. I'm going to press Command V as in Victor to paste it. Oh, yeah, that's way too big. Totally fine. Here's how we fix it. I'm going to press Command T for transform, Command 0 to zoom out, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to just shrink it inside. I press Command plus a couple times. That lets me zoom. And now I can kind of see how am I going to fit this in here. So it looks like I'm not going to be able to fit the entire thing in here. So maybe all I want to do is emphasize this guy right here. Now, if I want to see what the button is going to actually look like so I can figure out where it is, there's my button, this thing called Cut Edge. If you hold your mouse button in this empty space, you just left click, you can keep your mouse button held down and actually drag it up. See that little blue line pops up and just drop it. So what this does, I'm going to press Control plus again, just to zoom in a couple times. So I pressed Control plus, Control minus zooms out, and Control 0 goes all the way filled. So Control plus to zoom, Control minus. And then I can go back down to my layer here. And if I switch to this move tool, that's this one right here, I can kind of drag this around. I could also use my arrow keys to nudge it around. Now, if this is what I want to have printed on the button, if I wanted to add text or do whatever else you're going to do with it, you can just click the text tool and draw myself a box. Go ahead and shrink this down. Just call this Peterson Peak for whatever reason. Let me change the font up a little bit. Just going to go in and change the colors around just so I can see it. Your stuff is going to be totally different because it's going to be up to you to decide what you're actually creating. But with something like this, I'm just going to kind of do like a quick little drop shadow. Let's brought this thing up and I'm just going to click OK. Not sure if I dig that color, so just for sake of speed, I'm just going to grab something just to show you the next piece. Kind of like that lighter. Yeah, that's okay. And I can move this around. Now, what you want to be careful of with the button is you don't want anything you want to really see too close to the edge, because the way the button works is it's actually going to fold around the back. So you want to keep anything that you really, really want to be able to see, you want it kind of a little bit further from the edge. But be careful not to drag it down too much or you're going to have white space in there. So if you run into problems, we can kind of play around with it. But I'm just going to kind of nudge him around a little bit, give myself a little bit more like rule of thirds, kick him over to one side, and move that around. And then there you have the button that's set up. So then what you'll do is save this. You go File, Save As. I would save this as your last name, first initial, and button. And save it wherever it is that you're going to save the stuff. Let's leave it as a Photoshop document. It's going to pop up with this little message, maximize compatibility. That's just so it'll open in older versions. Turn that off and click OK. And your button's ready to go. Once you have that, you'll submit it to your instructor, and he'll give me all of the stuff. I'll get them printed, and then I'll come over and I'll show you how to actually build the buttons yourself, actually make them physically.